Hi chic friends, my name is Marla and I share DIYs, thrift flips, and home decor that are chic and cheap. Today is the Thrift Trip Road Trip hosted by Sammy at Unicorn Dust Designs and Kay and Trish at Crafty Cousins. I'll have their channels as well as the playlists listed in the description box below. Be sure and check them out. This playlist is about sharing our shopping adventures and then taking some items that we found and flipping them into something more our style. Project number 1 is using a thrifted wood heart. I found this little wood heart on one of my shopping adventures, and I paired it with a few other things I had on hand. First, I'm gluing together 2 of the larger Jenga blocks, I think from Five Below. You can tell we're going to be spelling out the word love, and the piece that I'm using for the V is actually one of those yard signs that I took off the back of one of the holiday yard signs from Dollar Tree. And here I'm gluing together the tumbling tower blocks from Dollar Tree. Now we need to give these letters some color. For the L, I'm using some watered down elephant chalk paint by Waverly. I'm just going to rub this on with a wet wipe to give it more of a stained look. I'm staining the E with some Waverly antique wax. The V will get 2 coats of white paint. Now for that little thrifted heart, it will get 2 coats of Waverly in Ballet Slipper. This is a piece of wood that I had on hand from a shelf that I took apart, and that middle hole will come in handy for this V. I'm going to hot glue the heart to the L and then the L, V, and E to the wood. I added some hot glue to the bottom of that V and stuck it in that hole, hoping it would hold, but I did end up adding a little block to help stabilize it. I love the way this little sign turned out. If you see anything you like today, please hit that thumbs up. It's just like giving me applause or throwing confetti or even giving me a gold star. Project number 2 uses a thrifted book. I'm using the pages out of this quotation book, and I'm going to be making some paper hearts. I'm going to be cutting each of these pages in strips. The longest strips will need to be 8 inches. Each strip will need to be about an inch wide, so I'm using a ruler here to see how many strips I can get from each page. Now I'm using my paper cutter to cut each of these strips that I've marked. For each heart, I'm going to need 2 strips of 8-inch, 7-inch, 6-inch, 5-inch, and 4 inches.
Be the same. We'll never be the same.
Once I have them cut, I'm using this piece of twine, which is much too short, and you'll see that in just a minute. I'm just tying a knot because we will need something to hang the hearts with. Now I'm going to make 2 piles of strips of paper with the longest on the bottom. So there are 2 of the 8-inch, then the 7-inch, the 6-inch, the 5-inch, and then lastly the 4-inch. All the other strips can be set aside for now. Now I'm taking 1 stack of the strips of paper with the shorter ends on the outside, placing the twine inside with the loop towards the long part, and you can see what I'm doing better than I can explain it, and then place the other strip on the other side of the loop. Now we're going to use 2 staples to secure both the paper and the loop in place. Now we're going to take each strip of paper and fold it over to the end, just as I'm doing here, starting with the shortest, and then we'll just keep working our way up until all of the strips have been folded over, and then we'll secure that with a staple. Now you can see that heart taking shape. And you can see why I needed to use a longer piece of twine. I'm just going to use some more twine and tie it to that small loop and make a longer loop at the top. I repeated this entire process 2 more times so that I had 3 hearts in total. I did find with the longer twine, it did need to be glued in between the 2 parts of the heart, so I did take care of that as well. I chose to hang these from a small wreath that I had, and I think they turned out lovely. Never be the same. Here's another look at some things that I saw on my thrift journeys. Never pass up the kitchen section. I found all kinds of things to use for this next DIY. Here are all the thrifted items that I found that I'm using for this next project. These gold hearts, this can of ginger, typewriter ribbon from my own collection, a spool of thread, a Valentine also from my own collection, and a glass globe, probably from a candle holder or light fixture, a candle plate from Dollar Tree, and a wood block also that was thrifted. Don't ever pass up the kids' natural colored wood blocks. The colored blocks are hard to cover with paint, but the natural ones are great to use. Now I'm taking this piece of scrapbook paper and I'm cutting it into a 2-inch wide strip and then cutting that in half. So I have 2 pieces of paper that are 2 inches by 6 inches, and I'm going to fan them accordion style back and forth all along the entire strip. Once I have 2 of them, I'm going to fold them in half and glue those halves together as I'm doing here.
There is nothing in the world that could ever take your place. 'Cause I love you in the end, the corners of the earth, where it starts to bend. Oh, 'cause I
Now that we have 2 fans, we're going to glue those 2 together. Now I'm gluing the last 2 sides together so that we're making a rosette. I did add some hot glue in the middle to kind of hold the round shape. I'm adding this pink wood heart from Dollar Tree and gluing the entire rosette to this skewer. Now watch as I put all of these things together to make a cute little vintage vignette.
where it starts to bend. Oh, 'cause I love you when it rains. All the shadows and the pain will never be the same. Will never be the same. Will never be the same.
I love this little vintage vignette, especially with the picture of my mother in the background. For this last project, I'm using a thrifted heart-shaped Jell-O mold. I'm truly not doing much to this. I'm just simply adding a leftover red bow from Christmas and hanging it on my wall. It would make a cute little addition to any kitchen.
'Cause I'll love you in the end, the corners of the earth, where it starts to bend. Oh, 'cause I'll love you when it rains.
Thanks so much for spending your time with me today. Be sure and check out Sammy and Trish and Kay's channels in the description box, and also all of the playlist. I hope that you'll consider subscribing to my channel and remember to share the chic. Bye now.